intro? You want
Guys
intro?
and gals,
Oh,
and
we're just going right
everybody
into
in
it. We're
between.
jumping in.
There's a there's
The
a
mo
movie
the
that came out today,
movie
or
today, yep, today.
yeah, today,
Came out today, baby.
called ANTMAN and the Wasp Quantumania, and
Snuck up on
we
us.
saw it. I'm
We did
Johnny.
see it.
This is Levi. We're
Johnny
gonna
almost
talk about
didn't
it a
see
little
it.
bit. I almost
So,
didn't go see this movie today. For a little background, I almost didn't go see it. I had the ticket, and I was like, I don't think I want to see this, and I ended up seeing it because of we wanted to do a quick video. I'm gonna let Levi start off this one.
well, I think maybe you can judge from our
Mm-hmm.
vibe coming into this that we weren't the biggest fans. I think Johnny's maybe a little more of a fan than I am. But my
Believe it or
recommendation,
not, yeah.
and I have a reputation on this channel, guys, for liking stuff that a lot of people don't. For pouring my heart out for stuff that maybe doesn't need it. But like
Doesn't deserve it. Yeah,
Johnny didn't need to see this movie tonight. He didn't need to see
I
it, and
didn't.
he wouldn't have gained anything or lost anything in the context of the MCU, and that blew my mind. When I walked out of
I
that
know,
theater
I
and
know.
I went, "Wow,
There's
nothing changed about my life before or after seeing this movie."
there's that piece of it, but there's
I'm
also
already,
like, is it
I'm,
an actual like standalone a good movie?
I
No,
don't think it is. I don't
it's
think
not.
it is. I'm already forgetting it. This this this
I
this
know,
will
I
this
know.
this
Me
will be
too.
this will be a
I'm not
spoiler
gonna lie.
review.
Yeah, spoiler
So
review. We're gonna get into
I
it,
think I
but
think before spoilers, if you want to hop out of here, I think bottom line, didn't like it. I think it's an average movie at best. So I'm hitting
I
with like a
expected
5
it
out
to
of
be
10.
like a flaming hot pile of garbage.
You were
It
much more down on
wasn't.
it going in. So
It
your
wasn't.
expectation is flipped. I had a higher
So I liked it
expectation
more than I thought I would.
that was subverted because it was not
Yeah.
good. But I mean, okay,
Kang.
jumping, yeah, Kang was the best, but like, okay, remember when Bill Murphy was in the movie? Weird.
I didn't like him at all. Actually,
No, I didn't like that scene at all.
I hated that.
It
It
was
was
kind of
horrible. It
weird.
didn't even make sense to me.
No,
I didn't
no,
even. I didn't. I didn't. Okay, sorry. We're getting into spoilers. I didn't even understand the betrayal.
I don't
Did you
know because
understand? Did you
because
understand
they
that
didn't
scene?
explain it, Johnny.
They didn't explain it.
The way,
I was
okay,
like I was like I was like,
there's
"Oh,
so many things
here's
about
my
this
friend.
movie.
Here's my friend. They're gonna help me." He's like, "Oh, I'm the mayor now." And he's like, "Okay,
Not
let's
even
sit
the
down. Ah,
mayor.
let's
He
do
was
it."
like a collaborator,
"Oh,
I
Kang's
guess,
coming for you,
and the Resistance.
and I'm gonna let him come for you." I was like,
But
"Okay."
it's like, all right, but
I was
the
like,
fact it's screenwriting. Okay, so to be a little more
"Yeah,
nuanced,
screenwriting."
instead we're just like all over the place. A
I know.
problem with the
This is gonna
MCU
be an all over the
movies
cover.
I've defended, like Multiverse of Madness and She-Hulk, projects I've liked, but I admit have been divisive.
Yeah.
A common theme amongst them is that Marvel has been importing almost the entire Rick and Morty writing team into Marvel. So you had Jessica Gao and
Um, you wouldn't you can see it now. See,
yeah, and I was saying, so
I
Jeff
bet I bet
Loveness,
I bet
yes,
hopefully
Jeff.
you viewer probably just had like a, "Oh."
Oh, so Jeff Loveness wrote this script, and this is the first one where I felt like I was watching
And he's done
animated
what else?
television. I don't know.
You don't
Rick
know?
and Morty. I don't know off the top of my
Actually,
head.
I don't
But
know either. I know he
like
did
in this
a
opening, we were
different
just
one.
referencing that scene, like the fact that the way they dance around using the name Kang, and they like
Oh
him,
my god,
and the way it would cut,
that was obnoxious.
I'm like, this is the most.
Levi, they must have said it 10 times. They were
I
like,
know, like
"Him."
him
It was either him or the Conqueror.
or
And I was
him.
like, okay. I was
I
like,
was like, this
"We
is the
all
most.
know who it is."
I know, and I'm like, this is the
Anybody
most
knows
generic,
who it
like,
is.
2003 writing that
I
I've
know.
ever experienced, and at that point, my eyes
Yeah.
were already rolling back into my head. There were certain bright spots for
And
me.
that's not even probably, like, the worst part of, like, that 2000
I know,
early
vibe,
2000s
like,
vibe.
even though I love
MODOK.
even so, of the parts that I liked was just sort of the Peyton Reed bringing over Star Wars, and it's quite literally him bringing over Star Wars because Peyton
I
Reed.
liked the aliens
Because yeah,
designs,
I liked the aliens. I liked because it was, David Dashmalchian was
cool
the whole
creatures.
alien. I was like, that's fun guy. Like,
Yeah.
I for one do not think any of that needed to be in this movie, literally
No,
at all. However,
nope.
I
It
enjoyed
was.
sometimes when they were there. Like Katie O'Brien. Katie O'Brien, she was in The
Yeah.
Mandalorian. She's going to be in
Mhm.
Mandalorian season 3, Imperial
Yep.
Comms Officer. She'll be named, and obviously Peyton Reed
Yeah.
worked with her on the finale, and so he brought her over as this
Yeah.
character. And she
She
was
was
fine,
alright.
and I
She
was
was
like, "I'm
fine, yeah.
excited to see her in Mando," but that's another example where, like, I'm glad that you're here, but
She was
I
a
don't
much
think you
cooler Mando character, though.
but yeah, but I'm like, I don't think you needed to be in this movie
When
at all.
Cassie literally was like, "Oh,
My
she's so
plan
cool."
she's so cool.
Oh, she's so
Oh
cool.
my god.
I was like, "Come on, dude, really? Please?"
My plan was just to save you. Oh,
Hmm.
okay, to continue the Star Wars. Okay, so they, like, just do a straight Rise of Skywalker, like, lift, even though
Oh,
that
no
movie,
way.
like, straight up, like, "There are more of us." The message goes out, "They came!" And then they do it again with the ants, and I was like, "You've done this bit
No,
twice?"
I know, and that
I
was
was
actually one
like
thing I was gonna
I was
say.
like, "You've done
I thought
2
about,
Deus Ex
like,
Machinas?"
have they not done that trope in every one of
I don't
those
in
Ant-Man movies?
every
Because
every
wasn't it like,
movie.
oh, we're down bad, we're about to lose. Here come the
Here
freaking
come the
ants.
ants. But it was the
Have
fact
they
that they did
have they
it was
done that in all three? Am I
yeah.
going crazy?
Yeah. But it
I
was the
feel like I have.
uh-huh, yes, but it was the
Yeah.
fact that they did it twice within the same finale. I was like, "How?" I'm like, "How are we here?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I was losing it, and when Kang the Conqueror, the person who this is the first Phase 5
Kang
movie,
looked
everyone,
great.
he
Perfect
looked
suit,
great,
by the way.
but when he gets killed by ants, I was like, "I don't care about any of this."
He's like, "Oh, which Avengers have I killed? Like, which
Oh
Avengers
my
have I
god, and the
killed?" They all
trope,
blurred.
I know.
Badass line. Love that line, actually.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
yeah,
well, because
love
Jonathan
that
Majors
line.
is obviously the best part of this about this
And then he
movie.
gets eaten by
Gets
ants.
eaten by ants,
Well,
kind of, but, like, okay,
kinda.
I gotta keep going down, like, the
No,
trope rabbit
no,
hole
keep going.
because,
Oh,
like, the whole
I'm
Janet
following
Van
you.
Dyne, like, "You don't know what I did." I was like I do know because I can tell in one line. I can tell in one
No,
line from
and
the
I
opening
wanna
of the
add I
movie
wanna add I wanna
what you
add,
did.
like, all this information, like, all this, like, really crappily set up, like, all
It
this
doesn't
stuff
go
is set
anywhere.
up,
It
but
doesn't
it's
mean
like,
anything.
it doesn't go anywhere, but, like, the editing, like, when we said this earlier right before the show, the editing is so
Drink the
bad
ooze.
in the first to second act, to the, like, because they split up,
Yeah, it's like the
the
middle
editing
half, the middle chunk
is
of this film.
horrible, horrible. My favorite moment was Cassie with, like, all
Yeah.
the ooze.
It looks like she had, like,
She's
Kool-Aid,
like
and, like,
she's like
the effect
she's like,
looked
"Dad,
bad too.
drink the ooze," and then it
And, like,
cut.
staring right at camera, and it would cut. I was like, "What is
Just
going on?" I'm like, "What
how
happened?"
about how the movie ends? Just Scott eating cake.
Mid cake eat, which okay, another this movie
It's funny, but, like,
I
I
think
don't
it's a
think it's
bad
funny.
funny.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
the
bad
movie
funny.
establishes its one saving grace that almost everyone can agree on. Like there are one, there's cool visual things, like I said, like the
It's
Star Wars
ants.
homages, and it's
It's
like
the ants.
it's cool. There's cool stuff, but the movie establishes Kang. I mean, that's what the movie's about. First Phase 5 movie. Let's do Kang. So aside from
Yeah,
a
but
criticism,
does it?
outside from a criticism I'm about to make, the movie establishes, man, Kang's everywhere, and the movie ends with
Mm,
ends with Scott. Wait. Just let me before I will get to the actual criticism with
sorry.
Scott.
Go ahead.
With you're setting up a scene. Scott Lang, you're calling back to the inner monologue in the beginning. Oh my god, did I ruin everything? No,
Yep.
it's fine. And then the movie
No.
just like it sets up a perfect like, and then he sees Kang, and then the movie ends.
Yep.
But it just cuts before that, and then they do it like a weirder version of that in an after credit scene. I'm like, what? Like it was even the ending. I was like, why did and you know why? Do you know why? Because this movie was so chopped up in the end. That scene with the cake eating it is from the beginning of the movie. That is something that they did in the beginning that they just threw it on the end. I'm almost positive because there is nothing about that scene
That
and the
would make
cake and him
sense. I
missing
mean,
the birthdays
I
with
don't like the
establishing
I do not like the Scott, like, over, like, voiceover
yeah, the
bit.
voiceover, yeah.
I can't,
Thank you,
especially at
Spider-Man.
the ending one was like,
Well, anyway, but I want you to respond to
well,
this.
actually, did I ruin things? I might have ruined things. No,
You
I
know,
don't know. Um,
I wanna
mm,
make the final point before you respond to it
bad.
about Kang,
I'm
is
bad. Mm,
that this movie, it
this
does
movie.
Kang worse than Loki, but also
Oh, no
doesn't
way.
establish anything new about Kang, and the version
Oh,
of
no
Kang
way.
in Loki sort of
It's kind of like you're saying
renders
Loki
this
already established
it
all this
renders
information?
yeah, renders this whole movie irrelevant. Like, they literally will
Oh,
show they were showing the
so you're saying
same
this
graphic.
movie was made for people who didn't watch the
Lo
show,
That's exactly what
and
I
this
felt, and
information was already
we
said.
yep, we did a
It's almost
pod
like that's what you're
recently.
saying.
We did a stream recently where Johnny didn't get much to say in it, but I was sort of
Mm.
lamenting of, like, what happens when Star Wars gets to that point where they start this is exactly what I was worried about.
This is
This
Yeah,
is
I
what
hope
I'm
this
talking
never
about,
happens with Star Wars.
where they make a movie that is so irrelevant to someone who has seen another piece of content, but purely because there just is so much content. There's probably gonna be people who watch this and go, "Oh, this is an interesting idea,"
Yeah,
which is totally fine. But for like MCU fans, like
check
which
out
is the whole
Loki.
point,
They did it
yeah, just
better.
literally just watch Loki. They use the same like CG model of the timeline of like, look, there's gonna be incursions. I gotta
Look at this
stop it.
thing.
I'm like,
I know.
you're just describing the TVA and everything that Kang, like the one who the he who remained. I don't know. You go, just go. This movie. I was, couldn't believe it.
It's almost like we said,
Believe what
yeah,
I was
they kinda,
watching.
like, made this movie for people who didn't watch Loki. Um, yeah, since we're talking about Kang and you mentioned the timeline thing, I'd love to mention the end credit scene.
Go ahead.
Hmm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Um, I like that they're doing the comics looks,
I like the concept,
like the concept.
the execution.
Not a good scene.
No,
Did not get me excited for
it
Avengers at
looks
all, which
so
is what this was
goofy.
for.
I know. Like, remember
And
the Thanos
I'm
end
gonna
credit
say it.
scene
No,
in
actually,
Avengers? You remember Thanos end credit scene in Avengers?
yeah,
Oh man, how cool was that? This was like the opposite of that. A bunch of like, because I this isn't my personal criticism, but I heard it and I agree with it.
yeah.
The whole point of Kang is that this is a man, his threat, his power comes from the fact that he sees time differently. He can monologue. He can be sure of himself
They
in
said
this
that a few
way.
times in the movie, like
Yeah,
5
he could
times maybe.
a couple times. He can be sure of himself and be calm and remain collected, and that's how he dominates the situation because he is just all knowing. He knows what's up. He knows how your story ends. So when a bunch of Kangs are like just completely going ape, like
They're like,
they're
"What do we do?"
going crazy in this arena for some reason. Like
I know. I don't know
it's not like
why
it's not
there's
like here we
Kangs
are.
watching Kangs in an
We've
arena, and I'm like, and I
we've
was saying this before the show. I was like, what if wouldn't it have been awesome if it like if we were talking about that cake scene, if
yeah.
they're at a dinner table. What if it
And
cut to
Kang,
like a Kang like it's a void and like
well, I think
Kang is sitting at
what
a
I thought was
fucking
gonna happen
dinner
was
table and it's
Kang
stretching to
was
infinity with like
what
a bunch of
yeah.
Kangs down the table. Like that
Was
would have been
Kang or
an
Kang was
amazing
gonna be his
visual.
server, like, a version of
Yeah,
Kang would have been his, like, waiter, and it's like, "Oh my
something.
god,
Yes,
this dude is everywhere because
everywhere.
he is omnipresent, and so
The
many versions
Loki
of him
scene
exist."
too.
Well, we'll
Like
get to the Loki scene,
yeah,
but,
sorry,
like, the
but
scene
more
where,
to that
like,
point.
they're just, like, losing their minds for stuff, like, they're not all sitting there going, "We have a new problem. This is how we figure it out." They are just, like, phasing in and
Yeah,
immediately, like,
because we actually don't know
becoming
what we don't
becoming,
know
like,
what
nonverbal
Kang is.
fools. I'm like, "This isn't like
Yeah,
Kang at all." I'm like, "Who even in the even what they've established," I'm like, "What character is this? Who are these goofy men?"
yeah,
And they're all,
because we
like,
don't know
just
what Kang is, who he is on this or
no, we don't.
the MCU worth. Well, actually,
No.
could it be the
He
one we
remains
saw in
maybe
Loki?
technically. Yeah, maybe technically. But either way,
But what if they went to another multiverse? Anyways, I'm sorry.
to your point about Loki, walking out of this movie,
Hmm.
someone said got up and said, and they went, "Man, Tom Hiddleston was in the end of this, but he ended up being the best part of the movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, a scene that's just ripped from Loki season 2
It's like 10 seconds, but
should not
by the
be
way,
the
too.
best part of Ant-Man because that scene alone was better directed, better shot. Jonathan Majors was giving an even
Better
better
shot, dude.
performance.
Are you kidding me?
Can I talk
Like
about
it's drastic. I don't even get it. I don't even get it.
you know the scene when Cassie and Scott are both big and they hug? It
I know.
looked it
I was
looked so
I wanted to
bad.
bring it up. I wanted to bring it up.
It was talk about it. Go ahead, take the floor.
Bad. Just bad. I don't even know what to
Somehow, like,
say.
it felt flat, like, the
You
camera
if
gave
you
you
could not
no
tell that
sense of
they were big.
scale.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't know they were big.
if you showed that frame to someone,
Nope.
you would
Like, oh,
never know
they're just
anything
hugging.
about their scale or their size
Nope.
because oh my god. Yeah, this movie was it was a trip, man, and we haven't even talked about MODOK yet. We haven't even
Oh,
talked
who?
about MODOK. Oh, I think it's you
Mm,
mean like, what is it? The organism designed only to kill the
yeah, for
machine? Yeah.
killing machine. Yeah. The, uh, I don't remember. I always forget
Silly.
what
Whatever
it
it was,
is.
it was silly.
Yeah. Well,
And
okay. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. MODOK is inherently a silly character. He's an
agreed.
insane idea.
However
However,
however,
for
not
him to
only
be
in this movie at all,
Darren Cross
Darren Cross
from Ant-Man
and
1
Warren is so
makes me
bizarre.
want to pull my hair out.
Dude, the flashback that they started to do where they were showing
Oh,
I was laughing out loud, like,
I actually
it
I
was part
thought
of the
that
joke.
shot
I know
of
it was
him being
funny.
built in his
It
little
was
bum bum was
it was
funny.
funny, but it's like
That
I'm
was funny.
like, "We're
I'll
doing
give them
this?"
that. That was funny.
But that moment was a Rick and Morty moment where I'm like, "This is totally Loki."
Yes.
But so the fact
Yes.
though that this guy, MODOK, even the character,
Mhm.
nothing to do with the quantum realm, nothing to do with
No.
Kang, nothing ever to do with
Well,
Ant-Man. No. I mean, like, in as the character, like,
just
before this.
oh, in the comics
Yeah, in the
or
comics, like,
in
in the
no,
comics,
yeah, no.
this character has
He's
nothing
the
to do
leader
with
of AIM.
yeah, this character has nothing to do with anything in this movie. So the
He's
way
the
that they
leader of
worm
AIM.
him in to be this, like, crazy freak character that is like, okay, like the shock value. I think like it goes there, it goes there. But then after a while, you realize how much time that we've spent on Modoc. And the fact, as you know, Johnny told me before the show, that he gets like a 30-second character arc at
Oh
the end.
no, he gets character development in the third act, and
Oh,
it's
in
what it
two
is
scenes.
accumulated for like 30 seconds.
And then, but he's like,
It's the
oh my
whole stuff
god,
with Cassie. It's everything with him.
I couldn't believe it though, because that development that he got of I shouldn't be a dick. I sacrificed myself, and his like dying Avengers line,
He's
all
now an
that.
Avenger
I
now.
cared more about that
That
than any of the arcs of the four like main
any
characters,
of the main characters.
which I think is a bad thing.
Yikes!
Yeah. Go yikes! Like I don't give a crap about like I'm sorry, but it's like
It's okay.
am I supposed
Hey,
to care
Levi, it's
about
okay.
like Hank Pym talking about, man, I was banging on the outside too. I was
He had
like,
nothing to do in this movie. I'm sorry.
this dude's got nothing. I'm like his
Well,
lines.
he didn't. He didn't. I don't know. It's
It
just
was
like,
just his scenes where he was just like Michael Douglas was just putting his hands in like some jelly. I'm like, man, poor Michael Douglas. Like, why was he in this movie?
why was
I mean,
Bill Murray in this movie?
I don't know. Why was anyone in this
Levi, why was
movie?
Bill Murray in this movie? Why is Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie?
I
Well,
know.
I guess that makes sense.
I
It's
don't. I
just
felt
all of it. It's just like
for her, like because all of her scenes were. She had the dialogue was just it was terrible. It was awful.
I didn't like any of the action scenes. There was one shot that I was like, "Oh, that's actually really cool." I want to guess. Try to guess what it is. I know you're not gonna get it. I'll get
Oh, there were a couple though that I went, okay, I like this. I mean, the one that obviously stands out in my mind that I can remember because so much of it is already slipping away
yeah
is when all of the different versions of themselves are pulling back into themselves in
yeah
the store.
that was cool.
I thought that was like visually
There was
interesting.
one really cool moment with uh uh, uh whatever Michelle Pfeiffer's character. I know her name.
Oh,
I can't remember.
the
Whatever.
slide.
Yeah,
Was it the
the
slide?
slide.
Yes, the slide was I was like, I went, oh,
That's cool. I was
that
like,
was
that looks
and
good.
she turns back and shoots. I'm like,
Yeah,
that was
and she
good.
goes, yeah, and she like slides on the ground, like slices up on
Yep,
the guy.
yep.
Awesome.
I was like, I like a slide. I
Loved
like a
it.
good slide.
I like a slide.
That was about
That's
it
about
about
it.
that I liked. Yeah, man. I mean, we could go on and on. I feel like I think bottom line is I don't think you need to see this movie, and that's the biggest
No,
like sin of it is I don't think you as an MCU fan even I don't think it needs to be
it's
watched.
just like another turn your brain off, just watch a kind of movie. I don't know. I mean, like
But I don't want to watch this again. Like I would
I
never want
know
to watch.
I can't like recommend it in good faith. Like I don't know. It's hard.
We're coming up on the 20-minute mark, so let's give our some final
Yeah,
verdicts, spoiler review. And if I didn't mention something, it's because this movie was so freaking forgettable that I didn't
yeah.
care to mention. I don't know. Like I thought about real quick. I thought about Wakanda Forever, Thor: Love and
Yeah.
Thunder, Doctor Strange, No Way Home, Moon Knight, She-Hulk.
That I
All
could
of those
do.
projects I like more than this, and so I go, hmm,
Me too.
that this is
And
yeah.
you know my thoughts on
I know, and so
some of
like
the movies.
so this movie has to be pretty like mid to, and it
But
wasn't even that it was
but
offensively
there's a
bad.
difference in our opinion is I expected this to be like horrible, like
I know. I expect it to be.
atrociously
I
like
like. I expect it to be
garbage.
good. So
I liked it. It was not,
no,
but
it was not.
I didn't
Yeah,
particularly
final
enjoy it.
verdict.
I will say some of the effects were pretty
Better than
good,
I thought. Better than I
better
thought.
than I thought.
Some of them were complete
Anyways,
dog. The opening. Okay, pause. We're gonna push this another minute. The opening shot of the movie. Like Michelle, or you weren't there. Oh no! Johnny missed like the first
no,
minute.
sorry,
Johnny missed the
I
first
missed
minute.
the first 5 minutes.
But the opening shot of the
So
movie is the worst looking green screen shot of Michelle Pfeiffer watching, Janet Van Dyne watching Kang crash into the quantum realm, and it looked so bad. And
mm,
the second it started, I went,
maybe my opinion doesn't count if I missed the first 5 minutes.
I leaned back in my chair. I think you would like it less. I leaned back in my chair and I went, no, because there were
I didn't
shots
know that
though.
was the first
There
shot.
were shots though
That's
that looked better. Specifically, one that comes to
shoot.
mind was like them going in front of the caravan, like the camera like starting below that, and the quantum realm is like folding in on itself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, okay, this is
Yeah, I saw
visually
that all that.
like
Yeah,
this is visually interesting. There's like depth to the frame here. Sometimes I was like, you are an actor standing in front of a
in front of a
flat
wall.
screen, and there's
Yep,
nothing you can do about it. Oh my god, there's this
it's
like
true.
when she goes to touch like the beast and her hand, like I feel like I could see the
Oh
green,
my
dude.
god, yeah. I was like, it looks like it was, like, getting higher
I know.
resolution
I was
as,
like,
like,
I
her
was like,
hand got closer
yeah,
to it, and I was like
I was like, ugh.
"What the f" 'cause it
Uh,
looked like 720p
yeah,
when, like, the actual texture of the creature, and then when she put her hand, it started to get a little more high
I
res, and
know.
I was like,
Not good.
"What the f"
Okay, let's do
Yeah.
final verdicts.
Anyways,
I would give this a
that's kinda how this movie was, is
yeah.
it
I,
I don't know. There's an analogy in there.
I
720p
I
into
would give this a
1080p.
4.5 out of 10. That's my
I
final
would
rating
give
on
it
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Slightly below average.
I'm gonna just bump up point 0.5 because of my
Yeah,
opinion. I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
5. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching our Quantumania review. I think
Thank you.
leave
I
your
hope you
comments down
enjoyed it.
below. Hope you enjoyed it. I know. I'm sorry if you made it this far and you liked it. I apologize for
No
crapping
hate.
you like
No hate.
because trust me guys, I like the Rise of Skywalker. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, thank you guys for
Yeah.
watching and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye
Bye
everyone.
everybody.